Hi, I'm Chuck with In the Ditch. Today I'm here with Casey Schmidt, one of our mechanical engineers. He's going to be my assistant today. Our goal is to show you how to remove the stainless steel replacement panel from one of your Pro Series toolbox doors. There seems to be a lot of people that seem to be very nervous about removing the stainless steel and how to take it off and how to put it on, and we hope this video kind of helps you out. You can see we have some of the basic hand tools around that are required to do it. You can do this on the toolbox, but we would suggest that you remove the toolbox and get it on a table just like we've got here. These are bonded on with VHB tape made by 3M, so it's very aggressive tape. It's the same tape they would use to bond the sides of a trailer or a motorhome wall, so it's a very hard to get off tape unless you use a few good techniques. So as always, it seems to work better if these things are up to room temperature. Normally you wouldn't have the stainless steel covering on it. We've just done this to help with the video so you don't get a lot of reflection. You could warm it up a little bit with a heat gun or a little bit of a propane torch. But the first thing you want to do is, Casey, go ahead and hold down on the board. We're going to go ahead and get underneath it here. And we need to start the sides of the toolbox up. And I recommend, you know, here's a little scraper. You could even use a chisel. But you just want to get underneath here and start the stainless steel coming up. I'm going to do just a little bit more than I normally would for the camera to show you how easy it is to get started under here. But once you get a corner up, it starts to come up pretty fast. Now at this point, I like to use 2 little pry bars. You could use blocks of wood, you could use anything that you wanted, but we're just going to go ahead and just kind of walk these pry bars under it. And as you can see, the stainless steel is coming up really nice. And then as we get going, Casey is going to go ahead and pull this. You can roll it or we're just going to kind of work it up as we go. Hopefully the camera can see that we're coming up really fast. And you just keep walking along. There's a little extra bit right there. And then we've removed the stainless steel. And that was real time. There was no camera trickery or anything, so it comes off relatively easy. Now you can see we've got the residue of the tape, and we've strategically located this tape to help keep water from propagating underneath here and causing troubles. But before you put your stainless steel panel back on, we have to remove this tape residue. And there's quite a few ways you can do that. Probably the most basic way is to just get yourself a good razor blade scraper. And I'll go ahead and start right here. And it really helps when you're using a razor blade if you kind of move it at an angle so that you're kind of slicing as you go. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. And then you just kind of go along. It takes a little bit of effort, but as you can see, the tape is coming up pretty nicely. And you're just going to want to do that all the way, but you can see there's quite a bit of leftover residue behind it, so you really got to work at it. But this way seems to work pretty dang good. And as you can see, we're pulling the residue off. It's okay to have just a little bit of residue on here. You know, the cleaner you can get it, the better off you are. But this method seems to work pretty good. There's another method that you can use, and that is to use the eraser. Most auto body shops carry these. It's for removing pinstriping or adhesives or tape. This particular wheel will run at up to 4,000 RPM, so the faster you go, the better. We're showing it on a drill because most people will just have a drill around, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works. You just take the eraser, and as you go along, it's removing it. This is probably our preferred method. And you can take your razor blade, and as you can see, it's done a really good job of removing all of the tape and all the adhesive. Again, it's your choice. I would prefer to use the eraser, but you're perfectly fine to just use the razor blade. The downside to the eraser, it makes it a little bit more of a mess. We're going to go ahead and pause for just a minute and vacuum this up, and then we're going to talk a little bit more. Well, now that we've removed the stainless panel, and Casey and I just got done scraping all of the 3M tape off using the, as we mentioned earlier, using the razor blade and the eraser. Real time, it took us a little less than 5 minutes working together to get this prepped and ready to go for the next phase of the process. You'll notice when you get your stainless steel panel that we've already installed the VHB tape on the back side of it. But we want you to leave it covered for a moment, and we're going to show you how we install the panels here at the factory. So the first thing we're going to do is align the stainless steel panel up with these square holes. So you'll see these round holes in them. We want to make sure we get them perfectly aligned. And then we're going to look at the reveal, which is from the stainless steel to the edge of the box. There's a little bit of aluminum reveal that I showed or talked to you about earlier with our new style stainless steel panel. So we want to make sure the reveal looks the same. Casey, you're happy down there?
We're all good on this end.
Okay, so once he gets that, we're going to take some 2-inch wide masking tape, and we're going to put it on the stainless steel, half on, half off. Rub it down. Then we're going to go ahead and fold the tape over and tape it to the aluminum. Okay, now that we've got that and we're happy with everything, now we're going to go ahead and lean the stainless steel up. We're going to kind of keep the angle down because the stainless steel is really hard on the cameras because it's so flashy. I don't have any fingernails. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and borrow this little snap knife. Not only do I not have any fingernails, I can't see very good. And you go ahead and pull the tape off. Here you go, Casey. So then we just keep repeating that until we've removed all the tape off of the toolbox. So we're going to go ahead and pause while we do that. Okay, now that we've removed all of the protective covering from the VHB tape, we're going to lay the stainless down. Now this is a one-shot deal, so you only have one shot to get it right because this tape bonds incredibly well. And that's why we have the masking tape on here. It's going to act as a hinge. We're going to lay the stainless steel down. And because we had the tape on, it's exactly where we wanted it. Now at this point, this is probably the most critical part of getting the tape to bond. So the way this VHB works is it's a foam tape with an epoxy chemical inside of it. And what happens is, in order to activate the chemical reaction inside of the tape, you have to put a minimum of 15 pounds per square inch of force on the tape. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're going to use a 3-inch wide roller, because it's 3 inches wide, you're going to need to exert at least 45 pounds per square inch of force as you roll over the top of the tape. And that's quite a bit. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, and I really got to get after it when you're putting the force on here. Another thing that's very critical to getting this to bond is temperature. We really want to make sure that the toolbox door is, 60, 70 degrees, even warmer before you apply the tape. You want to make sure your tape isn't super cold either. And the reason I really bring this up is a lot of times you're going to get your stainless steel in UPS and maybe it's been traveling all winter and it's super cold. You got to make sure you get the stainless steel and the aluminum to normalize. Leave them in the shop overnight or warm them up with a heat gun or something to get the temperature up in order to get this tape to bond. If everything's done right, the tape will last for probably centuries. If you don't have a nice roller like that, here's a trick we do. Just get a nice microfiber cloth or any other kind of cloth, and you can just put it over the top of a hammer like I've done right here, and that'll make it a soft surface. And then you can just take this, because there's some weight in it, and you can go along and push and get the tape to bond down on there. And then you're going to want to really push hard. I just can't emphasize enough that you get the right amount of pressure on there. We've had a couple warranty issues where the tape didn't bond, and that's because the person applying this at our facility wasn't putting enough weight into it. So we've designed a big weight, Casey did, a big massive 300-pound weight that we roll over the top of it. But that's why we've moved to the new stainless steel panel, so we could get away from the tape. The neat thing about this is it's a real nice look with that reveal around the edge. Now, after we've rolled all the tape down, now we just pull our masking tape off. And then you're going to go ahead, once we've done all that, and you're going to remove the protective covering. And it helps if you get a knife or something and kind of start that right there, and then you can just peel this protective covering off of it, and you get the picture. And you just keep going until you've pulled all the stainless steel off, or peeled this completely off the stainless steel box. I'm not going to go through all of that while we're here on showing you about this. Well, that concludes this video on how to change stainless steel on your In the Ditch Pro Series toolbox. Casey, I want to thank you for your time today and getting your involvement in this, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the ditch.